All right, welcome everyone to our Survivor China season review.
Here it is.
Time.
The moment we've all been waiting for.
If you're new to the channel, we've been doing a long-running series together. I'm a big Survivor fan, taking my friend Alec here through Survivor for the first time chronologically. That's right, we're up to season 15, which means there's tons of seasons before this one to check out if you haven't seen them. We review every season since Survivor Borneo. We have those, and if you go in the playlist, you can see us discuss every single season. We've also done reactions, so you can see highlights of Alec's first-hand reactions alongside me for every season since Survivor Thailand. So we've done, I think this is our 11th season now of doing reactions. So a lot of content out there, hundreds of Survivor videos, and we have a Survivor video every week. So check them out if you're interested.
Please do.
All right, so we went through the whole season week by week, and now we're here to wrap it all up with an in-depth season review. We'll talk about the season. We'll answer some questions. We'll talk about some after-season stuff. We'll do our Survivor Superlatives, where we rank the season, rank the winner. We'll update the top 10 Survivor players for Alec if he wants to add anybody to that.
All right.
And there's probably even more than that. There's a lot to get to.
There's a lot to get to. I'm sure there is.
A lot.
I just have this feeling. I don't know. I just have had this feeling that there's been a building amount of comments for the season, for whatever reason. So
yeah, surprisingly, the comments throughout the season, looked through all the episodes and I was like, okay, we actually don't really need to touch on any of these. We kind of covered them all.
Okay.
But you know, I did ask for questions in a community post. People sent questions there, and plus they already had a ton of stuff just in general to go into with the season.
Okay.
And so yeah, this is the most stuff I've had. I also wanted to start doing a segment. I don't know if I might do it at the end of the season review. I want to do an in memoriam segment.
Okay.
Where I want to talk about the Survivor players who've passed away since recording. Sure. And I'm going to go back and do the ones that from the seasons we watched so far. Mm-hmm. The people that passed away, kind of go through them. And then from now on, like when we do a season, we'll talk about anyone who's passed away from that season so far. And if anyone does, unfortunately, add to the list, we'll update it as well. But it's just interesting, I think. I originally thought about like talking about them in context of the timeline, like when along, like say someone passed away after season 35, bringing it up then. But I feel like it's probably easier this way, just to do it season by season.
I think it would be, yeah.
But so we're gonna do that at the end. All right.
Okay.
But so this season was filmed from June to August of 2007, and then it was aired in September to December 2007. So we're at the end of 2007 here. What are your overarching thoughts on the seasons, like going into this?
Going into this discussion?
Yeah, because we'll break down like the aspects, the positives and negatives, what people think and everything. But
I think overall, there's a lot about the season to like, but it's almost could be considered arguably one of the most predictable seasons of the show. Because we were set up with the most strategic guy that we knew from day one was going to be the most strategic guy. Ended up winning the whole thing. So much of the season was focused on his clique and his cult, quote unquote, that it really it dominated so much that it almost in retrospect is hard to have seen it be anyone else. So I guess in some ways it was a little weirdly almost too predictable, but lots of interpersonal drama that made for at times aggravating and at times extremely entertaining television. Weird producer choices in terms of how you get to choose people from the other team to bring over and then completely get like stomp. It was very bizarre. Somebody had 2 idols and didn't use it in one of the most bizarre strategic moves of all time. Um, it's just a very odd season. There was always felt like there was this opportunity for something to upend the T cart, and then that just never happened. So it kind of is like
That something was
almost
Denise.
that something was Denise, but it's almost by its very nature, and it almost isn't even the fault of the show, but it's like an extremely safe season of Survivor in a lot of ways. The person that you kind of want to win ends up winning. Or the person that's at least is maybe not necessarily the person that you everybody wants, but it's the person that the whole show has been building up as the person who's playing the game in every aspect of playing the game, in a lot of ways. So I don't know. It's definitely mixed. I think it's overall positive, but not. It's going to be in the middle tier probably. Ultimately, I think kind of where it's ended up with me. But
Okay. All right. We'll get into it. I think to start, I'll send you this.
Okay.
The DVD cover. We like to
yeah,
see the
classic.
DVD cover.
Okay.
All right. So these are the 6 we have. We have James, Todd, Courtney, Eric, PG, Amanda.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone got swapped in there, right?
Yeah. Huh. What's going on? What's happening with no
lunch lady to be found
no
on the
lunch
cover.
lady to be found on the cover? What's up with that, huh?
I think that's almost fair. I mean, they wanted to have James in there. Because he
Yeah.
barely missed the cut of the final 6.
He did.
So, also, I just gotta say they're never very intentional with the pictures they choose. It's like they're not great pictures of the people.
No. No, they're not at all.
It's like they just take a random screen grab and just like, all right.
Amanda's picture's not great. There's this weird thing where we have PG and Todd, and then the 2 others are like looking at them. It's very so there is some weird craft to it, but it's just very bizarre. It's kind of
James,
weird.
like come on, you can give a favorable picture. How do we have Eric and he's not cheesing it up on the cover?
Yeah, James isn't cheesing, and Eric isn't cheesing.
There's plenty of James like laughing, dying moments. You could take one of those maybe. Yeah. He's just like pissed with the forehead vein coming out.
Yeah, he's got the vein coming in here. Yeah, it's like, come on, what's up with that?
And then, I mean, it's a crystal clear Todd and PG down the middle. I mean,
yeah, for sure.
But then Courtney's like, I guess giving a little side eye, but it's like, all right.
This is a little attitude. Yeah.
But yeah, they're never the most inspired covers.
They are what they are.
Half-assed.
They are what they are. They're half-assed.
Pretty much.
I mean, they are what they are at the end of the day. That's what I say about them.
All right, so the first episode of Survivor China, where we end with the iconic chicken being voted out. I mean, an all-timer right there. Chicken.
It's one of the strangest. I mean, it's like it's hard to say anything.
One of the
else
most
besides
captivating speakers of our time.
of our time.
when he talks, you listen. You really do.
Yeah.
And so much so that they were begging him, please talk, please say something, and he was not. No, I will not give an opinion anymore. Ever since he shot down my one opinion, I got nothing.
All right, that's it. That's all we got. That's all we got from him.
And it's like, all right, see yourself out. Yeah. Yeah.
What an odd. I almost said what an odd duck chicken was.
But the John Hooge tribe was kind of like, kind of more on the depressing end early on,
Yeah.
We fixed it up a little bit, and it's definitely not as depressing as some of the ones we've seen, but it was like a weird vibe. The vibes were kind of off in that tribe versus when you go over to Fei Long, and they seem to be like, it's like night and day.
Yeah, kind of party it up.
But I mean, we had Ashley voted out second, then we had Sister Christian voted out third. All right, and she had a couple of memorable moments here in the season. Like right out the
she told
gate
Todd.
when we go in the premiere,
Oh yeah, right out the gate.
which was something about the season that was very much like thematically it had so much. It really went all in on the China
Yeah, yeah, for
theme.
sure.
Maybe the best, if not like second best, I think thematically we've seen so far.
That's I guess one thing I wanted to. I guess I forgot to sort of mention. I will say that I think thematically a lot of the like um a lot of the rewards where they went somewhere was always something. I felt like they leaned into the themes really well, and all the
Yeah,
challenges
the challenges.
were all really good. I thought it, yeah, definitely it was a very very visually appealing sort of, and very yeah, thematically appealing season for sure. I think
And
they
so
did a
we're
good job.
immediately greeted with Leslie as the not definitely not religious woman. She has a relationship with God or with
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, but
right.
not religious. Okay,
Yeah. She's a
but
Christian, but that doesn't mean she follows a religion. It's like, no, no, please don't be one of those people. This was a very it was a very 2000s phenomenon. It probably still is, honestly. But I remember when I was in high school, it was a very like common phenomenon that it was like, I'm not a religious person. I'm just, but I do, it's like, but I go to church, but I don't follow like, it's not religion, it's a relationship, okay? And I was always like,
yeah,
okay, but what's you are following a relate, like you can't just say that, like you have to, like, that's not how that works,
it's not
really. But
nuanced enough to say I'm gonna go in to do this ceremony that they're doing to greet us. Like that's not.
yeah,
It's not that kind of relationship. They get
right,
jealous easily. So
yeah,
she had to see herself out of
yeah,
there.
yeah. She's gotta say no because like, well, that felt a lot like
like
praying.
yeah,
It felt like praying.
Jeff was like, this is not a worship ceremony at all. This is just to welcome you. And then she's like, I don't know, it felt like worship to me, Jeff. I don't know if you got your facts straight on that. Basically, is what she's saying. So, just, the vibes were not there for me. So that's what we're immediately greeted with in that from her. She's a Christian radio host as well. Is what her.
Yeah, apparently I remember seeing that. Yeah. So whereabouts was she from? Whereabouts did she host that?
South Carolina.
That just makes sense. Bible Belt.
Yeah, she's
Oh, but sorry, she doesn't follow she doesn't have a religion.
or she might be in Utah now. I don't know. Host of Honoring the Journey podcast.
Yeah.
Leslie Niece.
Oh, she hosts a podcast now. Okay.
Yeah, you got to keep up with the times.
It's true.
But she brought an interesting little dynamic there, and then
Uh-huh.
we saw very early on that Todd. They had these little things where you get these clues that you could share once you're kidnapped to the other tribe. You could share your clue to the idol with them, and who Dave ends up giving his to Todd, but
Right.
Jamie gives hers to Leslie, and then Leslie is like, I can't find this thing. I want to entrust in Todd. So everything from the beginning was channeling through Todd. It's definitely an
Yeah.
impressive game from like start to finish. He was in the thick of everything. Like he was not.
He somehow was able to kind of engineer the game in a way that worked, and like some of it was just kind of weirdly by happenstance. I think.
He was the Todd father. People would just come up and
Yeah.
kiss his ring unprovoked.
Yeah, pretty much. It was the only person he had some resistance was Jean Robert, and he was just such a blathering idiot through most of the
Yeah.
the time. It just he couldn't hold a candle to it.
Handled it. Yeah, John Robert like identified that he was a threat early on, but just handled it with like not an ounce of finesse. So
Yeah.
he got finessed himself. But yeah, so after Leslie gets voted out, we have Dave. Dave is a force in the pre-merge here.
He's one of our favorite kinds of people.
One of those, like,
Yeah.
and the fact that he's one of those people who has the audacity to say that I don't want to be the leader, when he very clearly makes himself the leader the first chance to get,
He very clearly wants to be the leader,
and gets upset when like people don't do things his way. It's like,
right.
These people, you're
Okay.
not long for the game. I mean, these people, you see them come in, and it's like, do I really believe that Dave is gonna win the game? Just from episode 1, does Dave have a chance to win the game? Probably not.
Hell
Just
no.
from seeing
Hell
it.
no. He absolutely does not. He reminded me a little bit of was it Hunter? Was that the guy in Survivor Africa?
Yeah.
Who like he wished them, he almost wished death upon them.
Yeah.
He was like
Yeah.
leaving
Boston
out,
Rob pulled a fast one on him there. That's right.
um
One of the early blind sides of our time.
yeah.
But after Dave gets voted out, this is when we do the infamous swapping the write down your 2 strongest from the other tribe, and then they get swapped. And
I hated it.
First of all, the fact that John Who really thought with their whole being that they're just gonna get 2 extra members, and that was it.
Yeah, they thought with all their chest that
like,
that's
wow,
what
we're
was
gonna
about
be
to
up.
happen.
We're gonna be up in numbers now just by circling these 2 names. Oh, this is awesome.
I love the way you phrased that. They thought with their whole chest. And then this, oh yeah, here we go. Let's go.
It's like, this is so awesome. This is just a gift of 2 people that they're giving us. But yeah, it was obviously flawed, and we talked about it and how it's kind of messed up. Ultimately, I guess they didn't anticipate having such a gamer as PG to come in and break the game immediately and be like, how about we just throw the challenge and we can vote out their strongest members?
Yeah, exactly.
Because like we're already down in numbers, so we need to make up these numbers somehow going into the merge. And so they do just that.
Right.
They throw the challenge. They're laughing and giggling the whole way, and Aaron gets voted out. Poor Aaron, who was like, I love these people. These are some great people here. They're getting along great. And then they're like, he's so mischievous. He's got something going on here. And it's just like, and then James was like, did not want any part of it, but they're like, yeah, okay, well, then we'll keep James and we'll vote Aaron out then.
Yep.
Imagine if they voted out James in this spot, we would have lost out on one of the most iconic people of this season.
It's true, they would have.
And then we had the whole thing where you go to they were planning on throwing again to get James out. Yep. And they go into the challenge, and PG's like, just so you know, we're still looking out for you. He's like, to Sharia, and she gave her nothing. And then apparently Frosty wouldn't look at them, and then it's suddenly like, oh shoot, are they not with us? So they get cold feet about it. Little did they know, on the other side of things, Todd is trying to engineer getting James to get the idol, or giving the James the idol, and then have him go get the votes on him, and they vote Jamie out on that tribe. But then he can't throw the challenge because Denise is physically incapable of doing the food, the balut, on that challenge. And so by real luck, Jamie skates by on this one, and instead Sharia gets voted out.
Yeah.
But it was kind of crazy how it was like, PG broke the game, and then Todd was trying to break the game in reverse. Like, you just give you an idol, and you can just take out whoever you want.
Pretty much, but it didn't quite work out that way. But it's kind of weird that we're stretching the limits of, or we're stretching the rules here. It's not really like stretching the rules, but it's playing within as far to the limit in the bounds of the rules of the game, I guess you could say.
I mean, it was fun. We got to see people being a little creative here.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
We also didn't even, we mentioned it there, the whole immunity idol of it all. How it's like hidden in plain sight sort of thing. Previously, it was always like, first it was on Exile Island. You gotta follow the clues and find it there. Then on Fiji, you bring it into the camp, but you're gonna be digging a deep hole in a certain spot. This one is plain sight.
Didn't it start in Guatemala, where?
Yeah, the first one, Gary.
Yeah, Gary found it because what's his face just was being.
That said, it's like, definitely. What does it say? Damn, I forget the quote.
Oh.
definitely on the ground, so
it's
to
definitely on the
speak.
ground, so to speak.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But and then Gary's
Well,
like, Gary walks over and it's like, well, I see Judd exclusively looking up everywhere he goes, so something's not adding up here. Yeah, and so that was
yeah.
the primitive form of the idol where you had to
Yeah.
play it before you even voted. So
Right. Right.
um, you didn't miss out on the suspense that we eventually get from Fiji and now China
Mm-hmm.
of like, will he play the idol in time or not?
Right.
But yeah, they have this hidden in plain sight sort of idol situation. You have the whole thing where they're like tearing it down, and Frosty comes over. Todd panics. He gets impatient. He's like, "Oh God, we gotta get it in case he gets it." And Frosty's like, "What's that? What's that?"
What is that? What is going on?
And he's like, you better not say anything, or I'll kill you."
Yeah. He did say that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's.
But that was a fun, hectic time.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there with the taking down of the idols on the little enclosure, the little gate.
In retrospect, is that kind of like maybe one of Todd's worst moves is deciding to actually give James the idol, and trying to get this whole thing to maneuver where we're gonna vote. You're gonna go play the idol and get Jamie voted out over there. Where isn't there the much simpler solution is just you lose and you vote Sharia out, which is what happens anyway.
Right.
And then you still have the idol.
Right. You would think that. You'd think that.
Because you think it's kind of like one of those situations where it's like maybe a little too cute. He got a little too cute with
Maybe.
it.
Yeah.
And it potentially could have backfired in a huge way if James
maybe,
actually played the idols correctly.
Yeah, maybe he was thinking that way because there were two idols in play. So he thought, well, we can almost like we can get rid of one in an easy way. So that way we don't even have to worry about all this power. Because like 2 idols is a lot for one person to have.
But he could have had the idol. He gave it to him. So
who knows?
It's interesting. I mean, it's interesting. It's like the way they phrase it. For some reason, they were threatened by Jamie because she was tied to Erik. But it's like, does that really matter if you still have the numbers? Ultimately, that's all that matters, really. Yeah. As we saw because their plans foiled, and they still it goes well for them ultimately. They vote Sharia out, and then we hit the merge. All right.
Right.
So Fei Long are up in numbers at this point. And of course the whole time throughout the season we're dealing with the John Robert of it all with Courtney.
Yeah.
And you have the whole scene where like John Robert is like, I want the small girls. He was moving around in the shelter just to sleep next to them kind of thing.
So weird. It was so... I hated it. I hated it all. I hated everything about him and around him.
Yeah, it's definitely a significant negative of the season. And the
toxicity around that whole situation was just
like Courtney keeps like wanting... She's like... goes to anybody who will listen, like, please vote John Robert with me. You know, Sharia votes John Robert with her. And then until eventually... it happens, but not until we get Jamie voted out.
Right, we gotta
her. And she does her whole
in the most embarrassing thing of all time.
She plays this freaking thing that's not an idol, and James was so giddy about it the whole time leading up to it.
Yep, it was. It was such a. What a moment.
There she goes, and then John Robert has a brilliant idea. We should get James out. Now's the time to get James out. And then Todd was like, you know what? I'd already just thought the same thing, and that makes me want to get you out, actually, because you got ideas.
Right.
You know. So John Robert's out.
That's right.
And that was, of course, the one round where like they asked Courtney, like, who do you want out? And she's like,
she's like, I don't know. Whatever, I'll go with whoever.
And it's like, yeah, we're going to get the person out that you wanted out the whole time now.
Which is wild, because I think that's... because I think that was the one where Courtney won.
Yeah, so she was
she won.
chill.
She won immunity that time. Yeah, because that was the dragon riding one.
Yeah.
I called that one Dragon, Ride the Dragon.
Ride the Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. Not Rock the Dragon, but Ride the Dragon.
After John
Man.
Robert, we get Frosty voted out, which was kind of a little subversion at the time. It seems like Erik kind of weaseled his way in there a little bit. Got on Amanda's good side.
Mm-hmm.
And Frosty was probably more threatening in challenges in general, too. Is probably the bigger part of that.
Her little munchkin. Yeah, Courtney's a little munchkin got voted out.
Yeah. Straight out of, like, he could be a TikTok star today, Frosty.
Kinda. You know what? He did give up very TikTok star energy.
And he does parkour apparently too. So
oh, well, there you go.
He could do it all. He could have been early YouTube era doing parkour.
Yeah.
You could see him planking anywhere he wants.
Planking and or owling.
and he could be. I could see him doing TikTok dances, or maybe being one of those AI or NPC TikTokers. Yeah. Frosty.
Frosty. Frosty.
And then we have, of course, the iconic, the probably the biggest headline of the season that people remember is James being voted out with the
this
two
was
idols.
My favorite episode. This was my favorite episode of the whole season. This one. It was it's from start to finish. It was a great episode, I think.
I mean, it's great stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's interesting is I forgot to mention this, and we didn't talk about it at the time. So remember, PG was like, if James plays the idol, let's vote for Todd. And so if James plays the idol, then Todd will go.
Right.
And so like if James played the idol, then Todd would go. But Erik ultimately does not vote for Todd. Erik votes for James. So if James played the idol, it would have been a tie between one vote PG, one vote Todd, and Todd probably still survives even if James plays the idol, because Erik, it was too big of a risk. For some reason, it's too big of a risk, he said, whatever he was said at the time, to
Erik
vote
says
Todd.
it's risky, or could be if he goes with PG,
Yeah, so that's really funny looking back, that I always thought about this as like, oh, this is the most, like, maybe the worst position Todd is in the whole game. He's like so vulnerable. But even then, by Erik's like voting that way, he probably still would have survived, you know?
Yeah.
He would have voted PG out on a revote. But ultimately, this is probably something you can look back on as like a missed opportunity for PG and Erik.
Oh yeah, big time.
Like you have the option right there. You could tell James straight up, play your idol. And then maybe you win some favor with James. You're talking about this whole time about maybe we have James as a vote. This is probably a way to actually get him as a vote.
She kept being like, we should trust James. We have James on our side.
Yeah, I think we get James. We just need one more.
Yeah.
But isn't that? Don't you think so? It's like you tell them play your idol. They're voting for you.
Right.
And then there's so much potential for it to backfire, of course, but if you're in such a losing position as she is, they're just waiting to be voted out after this. I think it would have been worth it to do it, and potentially it's like them that wins him over. He doesn't trust them anymore. They're all going to vote him out, and then he's with them at least. It could be something there. Of course, you open the door for, like, you tell James they're voting for you, and then James goes over to them and he's like, PG just told me that you guys are voting for me. I don't believe it, but, you know.
Right.
And then that blows up the whole plan.
Right, it could.
But I think it could have been something there.
That could have blown up, too, because if he goes and tells them that, and then they decide not to, and he's reassured, but because he's not sure because of that, he might play the idol there instead. He might play one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because now that at least that little inkling of doubt is in his mind a little bit more prominently.
Right.
So.
And I think it probably also was the fact, compounding with that, is that PG is probably just threatened by James in general. Like this idea that, okay, it'll be down to one idol, but could he win a couple challenges and play his idol and still get his way to the end? Like, maybe she thought it was just ultimately better to get him out anyway.
Right.
But I think that was their only chance, especially seeing how it goes, where then Erik's voted out, PG's voted out. To be fair, I mean, PG is like, she's right there. I mean, you win a couple challenges, she's in there, but just doesn't go her way. Ultimately, we get Denise voted out. We're the biggest storyline of the season, or one of the big storylines of the season, is like, Denise, you're clearly on the bottom. She knows she's on the bottom. When are you going to make the move? And the answer is never.
Yeah.
And she goes out exactly where she's been positioned the whole time, the bottom of these 4 people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, 4th at best is what. 3rd place is better than 4th. That's what they sort of said to her, and she's just like, yeah, well.
So that's
whatever.
tough. I was kind of surprised you were rooting for her going into the finale, because to me, Denise was pretty frustrating to watch.
Well, I just wanted her to do something. That's why I was rooting for her. Like you've waited this long. I know it's tough. I just do something and redeem yourself. But she couldn't even do that, and so she remains forgotten in the bottom of Forgottensville, unfortunately.
And to me, especially with all the characters we have towards this end game, I think she's probably the most boring.
She's very boring.
Of them. It's like.
Yeah.
Oh, she's a lunch lady, and she has a karate school.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we get down to the final 3, where we get a very interesting tribal council, one of the more like live final tribal councils that I feel like we've seen, where it's like, it seems like votes are up in the air. Anybody's game, potentially. Like Amanda potentially coming in as a front runner, but Todd really steamrolling her, and Courtney coming with surprisingly good answers to even overtake her with the amount of votes. So interesting, because it's 4 votes for Todd, 2 votes for Courtney, 1 vote for Amanda.
Right.
And Frosty did not vote for Courtney to win. So
they voted for Todd.
That could have been a game changer. He could have been the difference.
What happens if they tie there?
If they tie, like, it would have been 3.
If it was 3-3, because that would have been 3-3-1. Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been they'd have Eric revote, or if they would have
maybe.
Or if they would have Amanda vote. It's one of those 2 options. So, I don't know. It was always very unclear at the time what the exact ruling would be.
Right.
In this tie. And people have talked about that a lot. Like, what would have happened if it just tied here?
Right.
But very close. I mean,
it is interesting that he did.
Maybe if Courtney handled Frosty a little differently on his way out, maybe he would have voted for her.
Maybe, yeah, because she. Yeah, he did, because he did mention, I have in the notes, because it's hard to write. There's a lot going on always in the final, the jury sort of interrogation.
Yeah.
Bit. So it's hard for me to take notes, but I did take notes like, he's like, Todd, you lied directly to me, so why do you deserve my vote? And then Courtney, with Courtney, he's just like, backstabbing me hurt. Like, why didn't you tell me I was going? And yeah, that was probably an answer she probably could have done a little bit better.
Or he could have told him or something. I don't know.
Or she could have just told him, yeah.
Like when he was on his way out. Try to save some face. But the thing is, I don't think Courtney was playing that much of like a premeditated, like, I need these votes.
Yeah,
she just kind of, I'm here at the final tribal, and here's my argument.
Yeah.
But she was right there.
Right.
Would have been an ending if Courtney wins over Todd and Amanda in the
that would be a heck
3.
of an upset.
Yeah.
It would be like an upset, but it wouldn't be one that, like,
but you wouldn't be upset.
You wouldn't be like horribly upset by it. Yeah.
Though I think Todd is a crazy, like,
Todd's the
very deserving
most
winner.
Deserving.
Yeah.
Vote most deserving winner for sure of all these.
And Mendo was right there. Like, she had the opportunity to try to make something happen, vote out Todd, and she didn't, which ultimately probably cost her $1 million.
Yep.
As far as we see it, I don't think Denise. It seems like, from what we could tell, Denise was not this, like, I'm going to win all the jury votes threat.
Yeah. Why does she seem to think that?
I don't know. She seemed to think that everybody would just vote entirely based on a need basis. Like, I need the money more than them, and that'll get it. I don't know. She literally voted for Courtney to win just because she was blunt. I respect that. These people lied.
Yeah. It's
But a very impressive final tribal from Todd and Courtney. People often talk about this performance from Todd as like one of the best.
The performance from both Todd and Courtney were both, I think, stellar. Todd especially, but Courtney honestly was very surprising. I think she won those votes over, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she got James. Like, I wish we could have gotten some insight on what James was thinking with his vote, because James was the other vote for Courtney to win.
Right, yeah.
Very interesting. But, of course, we also talked about the reunion, the whole John Robert vote, and how you said I would never vote for Todd and everything. And he won him over by sucking up to him, essentially, with that question.
Right.
So all these votes, like, they were so, like, potentially to go any way. They're all very, very meaningful votes here.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess we can go into some after show stuff. All right.
Okay.
So you asked me, you wanted to see how John Robert did when we said I was going to add into my poker. I'm going to play good poker.
Sure.
So I didn't know exactly either. I had to look it up. So it was like, it says at the 2015 World Series of Poker, he finished second in the $50,000 Players Championship and earned $784,000.
Wow.
And then
that's pretty good.
At the 2018 World Series of Poker, he won his first World Series of Poker bracelet and $616,000 and $5,000 no limit hold'em six-handed. As of 2018, his total winnings exceed $2.8 million. So.
Hey, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Honestly. Hopefully he's a somewhat reformed.
He seems kind of like a douche still, from what I look.
Okay.
Like, go on Twitter, and his profile picture is like him. There's like a girl. In. He's like in a hotel bed on a laptop, and he's like looking away from this girl in like a bikini, who's like next to him. I don't know. He gives off still douche energy, though he's very old. He's not very old. He's much older.
He's not very. He's very old. All right, Zach. I'm gonna be real with you.
Yeah.
I think it takes a douchebag to be a part of the World Series of Poker.
Really? Okay. Yeah.
And I say that as somebody who really likes poker a lot. Maybe I'm a little bit of a douchebag. I don't know, but I don't like follow professional high stakes poker or anything like that. But
just all goes to your head. I mean, these are high earnings,
Yeah, that's a lot of money for sure.
It's a lot of money. $2.8 million.
Yeah.
You know what's better than $2.8 million? $2.8 million in some ass.
That's what that picture, his profile picture, is all about.
Yeah.
So.
Though I think he has a wife now.
Oh, okay. Maybe is that his wife?
I don't know.
Okay.
It seemed like an older picture though, like he seemed younger.
Okay.
In that.
Okay.
Where to start? Okay, we got a couple more things. I'm gonna send you a link to this. It says 5 tabs total, so just stay on the first tab, and just read it out loud when you see it. Just the top part.
Whoa. Okay. So there's I don't know what that small print is there, but
just read the top.
All right. Although Mrs. Martin was a cafeteria employee prior to her selection as a contestant, she asked to be considered for a promotion to a full-time custodian, and was promoted to this position on March 30th, 2007. This promotion came with additional benefits and a higher salary. Following her leave, she then returned to the same position.
So this whole thing she says in the reunion, where she's like, I lost my job because the kids were being distracted and everything. I lost my job as a lunch lady. The superintendent of the school had to come in and say, well, this is actually wild. This is wild because okay, so here's the quote. They said, yeah, I watched my own jaw drop when she said that because it's absolutely not true. The comments made by Martin held a full-time position as a custodian prior to participation in the series, and she returned to the same position upon her return from China. Although Mrs. Martin was a cafeteria employee prior to her selection as a contestant, she asked to be considered for a promotion to full-time custodian and was promoted to this position on March 30th, 2007. This promotion came with additional benefits and a higher salary. Following her leave, she then returned to this same position. I can empathize having been a working mother. It's tough to work those night shifts, but she took the job. That's the job she took leave from to do Survivor, If she wants to go back to the day shift, she should apply when one comes open. She said she spoke with Denise on the phone Monday afternoon that she was apologetic, but that she did not explain why she said that to my satisfaction. It's difficult to grasp. We did nothing but encourage her. She took leave for almost 3 months. She was given additional times off whenever she needed it. Now she says this on national TV. Douglas is a nice little town. Everybody was rooting for her. The local paper was bending over backwards with positive articles. Then to have it end this way, talk about a letdown. So.
That's wild. That's wild. So it was a bunch of fake news.
It's like fake news, and then the Mark Burnett gives her $50,000. I think I heard that she ultimately ended up donating the money. $50,000 because of that.
Maybe after some of this came out about it. Yeah.
But it sounded so funny. The person who was like so much like, I'm not a liar. I respect Courtney. She doesn't lie. These other two lied so much. But meanwhile, she's got this whole story. She wasn't even a lunch lady. We're talking about the whole season. She's a lunch lady. Where's the custodian? We could have custodian jokes going on.
Yeah. There's a whole. Oh man, that's one of my. You're reminding me. That's one of my favorite episodes of Everybody Loves Raymond.
It's just.
It's a custodian. Oh.
The fact that she was so.
He's not a janitor. He's a custodian.
It's crazy. I wanted to send you the actual document, but it looks like it's not online anymore. That's what the tiny thing in the bottom left is. It's like their official statement. The superintendent had to make an official statement because they were getting so much hate from people because they were mad at them for supposedly like firing her or demoting her to janitor. It's really a promotion.
That's insane. That is insane, really.
So just a little thing that lives in infamy. All right, go ahead and click on pick number 2.
Whoa!
So here's Jaime and Erik. They got married. They've been married. They married like a couple years after the show, and they've been married ever since. Here's their son.
What a cute little kid.
What a cute little kid. Hit pick 3 for me real quick.
Okay. Oh no! No!
Yeah, look at
no.
Look at the date on that for me real quick too.
No, this happened recently.
March 8th, 2024. You know, I remember going into the season. I was like, I'm excited. I'll be able to show another picture, just like Rob and Amber, see how they're beautiful still couple. Happy and together. And it was like right before we're about to record it.
That's so horrible.
Yeah. So what? I got the article here. Survivor star Jamie Huffman accuses husband Eric Huffman of flying into rage over gay claims, attempted rape, and physical abuse in bombshell divorce filing 17 years after they fell in love on reality TV show.
After gay claims?
Gay claims.
She thinks he might be gay?
So let's see. Jamie said Eric, who she first crossed paths with on CBS Stalwarts in 2007, was abusive to her when she confronted him on one occasion after she found messages on his phone from men described as flirtatious. Jamie said he snapped and began screaming, "How dare you accuse me of being gay, you stupid bitch." Jamie told the court that on another occasion, Eric attempted to have sex with her against her will, said that he weight-shamed her after she gave birth to their son. He also showed a jealous streak, began screaming at me and punched a hole into the wall next to my head.
Cool. Cool. Sounds like a great guy.
Eric and Jamie separated earlier this year in the wake of a January 23 incident in which Eric was charged with third-degree domestic violence following a conflict at a Spartanburg, South Carolina gas station.
Oh, cool. So they're having a spat in public.
Yeah.
Oh, that's real wholesome.
That's where we're at with it. So close to having a good story to share with you.
Like, just look at your beautiful wife for like 2 fucking seconds. I cannot for the life of me understand how weak a man you have to truly be to unleash yourself in such a fashion against your wife. I have zero respect for people that do that. You can resolve your differences through words. Hell, if you need to blow off steam, go. I don't know. Fucking go boxing or something. Go to the gym. We'll off steam that way. Don't fucking hit your wife, okay? Like don't even get me started on that. That pisses me off to no end. So
Right.
so all right, Eric. Eric, he's not a virgin anymore, but he's certainly hasn't calmed him down at all. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's one of these things, these stories where I don't want to tell you early on, so that we wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
enjoy any of the cheese and
No,
Eric
no,
moments at all.
he was cheesing it up, man. Yeah,
It's like it seems so innocent at the time,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I mean, 17 years later, I mean, I don't know when exactly it started going wrong. Probably.
I mean, hey, a lot can happen in 17 years.
Yeah.
So, but
So I'm glad she's out of that situation,
yeah, yeah.
but it's sad that
It had to,
either
it came to that.
enduring some parts of that throughout the years or it turning wrong at some point. Either way,
Right,
it's like you have so many years into this person to have to deal with that. And,
right, yeah,
sad,
exactly. That is
sad. But
sad.
it was like always up until this year. It was always touted as one of those survivor couples that lasted the
Yeah,
test of time. So
yeah. I was like,
sad.
man, he cleaned up pretty nice. He's got the sweet little dog,
And just the contrast to
adorable little kid.
that.
Yeah, the contrast of that of his mugshot. You know, his mugshot's creepy too.
Yeah.
I'll give him that. He's almost got a little smile. You know, there's something going on behind
Ted
the
Bundy
eyes there. You
energy.
know, it is some Ted Bundy energy
Kind of,
going on
you could
there.
definitely like he looks the part there.
He could play him in the movie. I guess Zac Efron already did that. So,
Um, all right, the last other thing I want to talk about is hit pick 4.
oh,
All
oh,
right,
oh,
so all right, so this is
oh, what is going on with
so
Dr. Phil? I
you got
see with Dr.
Todd
Phil.
on Dr. Phil. All right,
Okay,
so
okay.
after Survivor, sometime after Survivor, he struggled with alcoholism,
Oh,
and so that was a big thing. And then he went on Dr. Phil. It was like 2013, I think.
okay.
And
Is
Todd,
that his mom there? Who's that
I'm not
woman?
sure, it might be. But Todd basically alleges that Dr. Phil basically took advantage of the situation where he was sober, because there's like a viral clip of him like just being a mess, like he can't function on the stage, and they're like, what's
Mm-hmm.
going on here?
Mm-hmm.
This is what's become of Todd and all this, and so he says that Dr. Phil in like the waiting room, like he came in sober, but in the waiting room there's 2 bottles of vodka in the waiting room. So he was taking advantage of it in that way. So he was like really struggling being
I don't
sober.
know if I believe that. That's all. That's I find. I mean, like Dr. Phil's not exactly like I don't know, but
No, I mean
he's a pop guy. You know, he's a pop doctor. You know, so it's like it's. I don't know how much I buy on most of Dr. Phil, but
I don't know.
would he really do that?
Apparently it's pretty fairly corroborated, and there are other stories of Dr. Phil that people come out saying he's done similar things.
Mm,
Where like alcoholic and you have alcohol there because he wants to.
that's so messed
Oh
up.
yeah, and apparently
Yeah.
he also said that they gave him a Xanax to calm his nerves.
Mm-hmm.
So that combined with the vodka was
Yeah.
really bad.
That's not gonna be good. Yeah.
So that's a tough one, but if you can get pick 5,
Yep.
all right. So Todd's good now. He's all healthy. And he's
Okay.
happy now. He's perfectly
Okay.
fine. So
He's with a did he get married
yeah, he
or
got
his
married.
boyfriend? Okay.
So he's very happy now. So
Well, you know, at least there's a happy ending to the story.
but
You
people
know,
walk
that's
away
good.
with just really not a very favorable look of Dr. Phil after that.
Jeez, come on, Dr. Phil.
But very
Come on now.
very very cool how he overcame that the alcoholism and
Yeah.
everything.
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of courage to do that. So,
Because
good for
I
him.
remember he was saying like Dr. Phil, like his dad was pissed about it because like once he saw him come out on stage like that because he knew he had seen him sober coming into the place, and to see him come out like that, he was pissed.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
really shady. Yeah, not good. But there's just a lot of stuff.
Yes, yeah, a lot of drama
A
after
lot
the
of
show.
drama.
Jeez, man. Yeah, well, especially some of it's super recent too. That's what's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
up
but
until the last
it
hour,
looks like
essentially.
it looks like they went to South America. This looks like a like a
That sounds right. That sounds right.
like a Mayan or
Yeah,
it's
Guatemala.
ziggurat-esque.
Yeah.
Yeah, Guatemala maybe. Yeah. So,
But he's doing great. He's doing great. He's still active
well,
in the
good,
Survivor community. He keeps up with
good.
everything. So um, that's awesome. I mean, I wanted to have at least a positive end here
Mm.
of that.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because like if we'd done this season, like just like a few months earlier, we could have
I
been
know,
saying, "Oh, what a happy marriage," and it was completely
and we
immediately
would have had
outdated.
have an update being like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
We do have to mention this now. Yeah.
All right. Now, how about we talk about overall? This is a thing we did last season where it was like, let's talk positives and negatives, pros and cons
Mm-hmm.
of the season overall.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we already mentioned a couple of them. The theming was very on point. I think it's up there with like Pearl Islands. It was
Yeah.
very strong, like
Pirates.
keeping the theme throughout and
Keeping the
sticking with it.
Yep, pirate theme. Here we have
Chinese
very
theme, and
Chinese theme.
it's probably
Yeah.
the best. In my opinion, of what we've seen, it's probably the best at that, especially with the challenges being all consistently in line with that.
Yeah, I would agree. Actually, they did a lot. They did a lot through a lot of that. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, and then we'll say a negative to go back and forth a little bit. The whole John Robert and Courtney thing, it's
Mm-hmm.
not great.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like that to not have to be a factor in a show when we watch something like this.
It's not pleasant at all.
But another positive, very entertaining cast. I mean, there's some really real standouts here,
Yeah.
I think. A lot of great personalities in the mix. Even like the pre-mergers aren't like as boring as some of the other seasons were like super forgettable.
Right.
There's
It's
some
just
more
like
than others, but they still have their moments.
John and John,
Yeah, exactly.
Greg and Greg, or whatever it is.
I would say the negative is the twists, the swap twist, and how it's handled. To
Yep.
basically just get Aaron screwed over by it. And my last ones, my positives. I had fun blindsides. There's a lot more. I feel like more than any seasons we've seen so far, we had a lot of like actual like blindsides. They
Like,
had no
whoa,
idea
yeah.
they're gonna be voted out. Of course, with the biggest one being James.
James
There's
is a big one, yeah.
some compelling strategy here, I think, too, at play between like Todd and how he's playing, along with Amanda, trying to navigate that, as well as like
Mhm.
PG and what she's trying to do.
Mm.
And then I say Denise, and ultimately anticlimactic ending. That's kind of the negative there, the whole
Yeah.
Denise of it all. And then
Yeah.
my last positive I have is a great winner. I love a season that has a solid winner, a deserving winner. We have a lot of like great seasons that ultimately have like, it's like, okay, and that's the Amazon where it's like a great season to the last second. It's like, okay, Jenna's the winner, I guess. But this one is like you see someone who's in control like pretty much the whole time, and very deserving and entertaining
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, I guess maybe it is rote, I guess, to a degree, like in the sense that like it is predictable that he would win, but like that is ultimately like it's satisfying to see somebody dominate the game and pull it off, because we've definitely seen plenty of examples, even in the seasons we've watched, of people that have dominated the game, dominated the strategy, but can't quite get the dub at the end of the day. They can't quite clinch it.
Mm-hmm.
So it is always fairly satisfying to see somebody play in a way that's strategic and sometimes cutthroat, sometimes backstabby, a little bit underhanded. But at the end of the day, they are who they are. People respect game, and they're able to pull it off and get the win at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So
Any more positives or negatives overall for the season you can think of?
I don't think so. I think the way they were handling the the hidden idol was very clever.
Hmm.
It just so happened to be like to end up being a little silly and clumsy. It was like every opportunity that they had for a really cool idea when it came to that always ended up weirdly fumbling in some way. It was like, oh, okay, Todd's getting all the instant information, like somehow because he's being trusted with it all, and then it's like, oh, and then they fumbled how they stole the information, and then Jamie saw it and she thought she knew what the idols were, and then that was a whole embarrassing thing. And
But
then
there's like fun
when
in that too, you know.
and then when Todd, well, that's what I mean, is that it's not
Hmm.
even really a negative, so to say, but it's just like
Yeah.
it's just kind of a funny thing because it was almost every opportunity it had to be like cool or like whoa, it ended up being kind of dumb and goofy, and that actually made it as entertaining as if it was the cool way they were hoping for. So like when when they're taking the idol off the thing, like they're like, oh, they fumble it all, and then Frosty's like, what's going on over here? And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
It's just messy,
yeah.
but in a
And
good
then
way.
James fumbled it all. None of them ever got used. So yeah, all that for nothing.
Yeah.
So that's funny.
All right. What do you say we get some questions?
Let's go for it.
This is from Josh. I believe it was Survivor 1234. So something happened where he said he got a copyright strike on his channel and he had to do a
Oh,
post on his other channel. So we got Josh here. He says Survivor China was marketed as a back to basics season with a stronger focus on location, smaller cast size, and less twists. Did you like these changes or did you feel they were a step backwards for the show?
I actually okay. I like the smaller cast size and I like the focus on theme. I think that was a great idea. Um, I think going back to basics, unfortunately, in some weird way, also meant less diversity
Right.
in a lot of ways too, which is like that seems a
Yeah, we
little
need to get back to our
going
roots.
backwards. Just white people.
Yeah,
That's it. That's our roots. White people, one Asian person, one black guy. There we go.
that's
Boom.
it.
Um, so it's a little weird in that regard because I think you and I would both agree that like the
Yeah.
diverse cast really helped a lot more. Well, I guess okay, there were two black people because Sharia as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not unique to the
But
season though. So that's something we'll kind
yeah,
of be dealing with.
okay, yeah. I think overall it worked out pretty well. What was the other facet he had said?
Less twists.
Less twists. Well, yeah, there were less twists, and the twist that they used was terrible. So the
Yeah,
fact that there was less twists was actually a good thing,
it's true
because if
because we
there'd
kind
been
of
more,
in the past couple of seasons, especially,
there's
it's
been like
like we're
two or
talking about all
three.
these different like
Yeah,
the message in a bottle,
yeah,
the split tribal at the merge, stuff
yeah,
like that. Yeah, so we just have
yeah.
one,
Having
but of course it couldn't be good. You know, it
yeah, it
just
was
gotta
a
be.
terrible. You couldn't have a good one. Yeah, I did appreciate that. I think the less twist was better. I hope they refine the strategy a little bit next time, and if they continue to go with less twists, it makes it less one that's less well, we're screwing these guys over. Here we go.
Yeah,
Um,
I
but
don't know what they were
yeah, I
thinking
think
on that.
I
Like,
don't
'cause I
know.
remember Chase saying they're like, I think it was like something, or I think it was Chase saying it probably had something to do with the art of war and trying to work in something with that
Oh,
thematically. But
maybe. Oh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that might have had something to do with it. But you always have
but
to think
still,
on your toes,
but still,
or
it's like it
you have
just
to know your. Oh, you have to know your enemy. I think they even said that,
yeah.
right? Or something like that. I feel like that was like a quote they used or something. So,
But if
uh,
PG was able to break it so quickly, it's like they clearly didn't take the time to think about the different things people could do
right,
with this. They just thought something else was gonna happen. They're like, oh, we
right.
got two stronger people now. Maybe we'll vote out one of our own tribe.
Hmm.
And they didn't think about how could, because when you're designing a game, you have to think that way. How can you break it? Like, it's always got to be
Yeah,
how you.
it's funny. This is going to be a weird side tangent on this, but there was a documentary about the making of the Oregon Trail.
Mm-hmm.
the game, the computer game. And that's actually one thing that the creators say in the original teletype version of the game. When you were like, when you would shoot, it would be just be typing out like shoot or bang or something to fire the gun. But the programmers didn't realize that they just made it for like the classroom or whatever. But they realized after watching, the kids would be ready. They're like, okay, it's time to shoot, and then they would have all their fingers over the keys. And so they're like, okay, well, they can predict it, and they can type it really fast, which gets them more meat, which helps them along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So they then decided in an updated version, they're like, okay, well, instead of just bang, we'll also have shoot and fire and some other stuff in there too.
Yeah.
So they have to read it instead of just having it already. So it's like one of the guys mentions, he's like, sometimes you don't think about the mischievousness of children, but that is something that you need. As you get better at this, you kind of have to be devious in a certain amount of way. You have to be understanding of who you're making the game for, because people will try to break it in whatever way they can. They'll look for an advantage. So.
Yeah. And that's exactly what PG did. And
exactly what she did.
And if they'd thought about that, maybe you could have done something like we were trying to speculate, give one of them immunity or give both of them immunity for one round or something.
Right.
To make it so, like, okay, the easy option isn't to throw.
Mm-hmm.
You actually want to win. Because if you're having a challenge, ideally you want to win. The times that people throw them, their Survivor Productions not hoping that they set up this whole elaborate challenge just for people not to take it seriously.
Right.
So you probably want to design your games to make them take them seriously.
Right, exactly.
But in general, I like the direction of more back to basics than Exile Island, nonsense shenanigans, twists all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, there were. Yeah, yeah, lots of that.
This is the first season where we've seen the final three all get votes. Do you currently prefer final two or final three?
I think I still prefer final two, but this one made the case for final three real for me. I think that whatever they decide going forward, I'll be okay with. I won't necessarily be disappointed if they decide to go back to two instead of three, but I think this made the case to me finally that three is actually kind of worth it sometimes, because Courtney might be like the bottom consideration, but she ended up being like an interesting swing kind of vote in here, like to an interesting degree. Our three finalists here were all were deserving in different ways, I think, of being the final three. Whereas like the previous ones were just like, it was just like a toss away person, and then the two people that you actually wanted there. So yeah.
All right, these are all still from Josh here. So we got Courtney has been vocal about how she feels like production ignored John Robert's harassment towards her and the other women and instead played it up for laughs. Todd has also been apologetic for how he addressed Courtney's concerns about John Robert. Do you feel like production did enough in this situation, and what steps should production take when one contestant harasses or abuses another?
There's definitely needs to be more like weird, like this is 2007, so it's like a lot of this stuff probably hasn't really developed so much yet, but there needs to be more like safety tools and measures in terms of, like, it feels like there's no one she can go to on production to like make it stop, right? Mm-hmm. Like there needs to be something done, because there's men and women intermingling. There's going to inevitably be a little bit of canoodling. There'll be a little bit of flirtation. But if it's unwarranted and unwanted touching and stuff like that, you need to have someone you can go to crack down on that. I do agree that I think playing it for laughs in the way it kind of was gross, and I think that ended up making us both feel kind of icky watching it. I don't even know like how like hardcore they were pushing it for laughs, as instead of just presenting it. I guess some of the editing and like the goofy stings and stuff that they would play when he was saying stuff, but kind of indicate that. But I mean, it was still gross at the end of the day. It was douchey and creepy.
Yeah, and the fact like the segment they kept playing is like the clip of Corny being like, I'm 70 pounds. I can't even keep myself warm. You know, that whole thing.
Right. Yeah.
And so,
Which is
yeah, they keep
yeah.
playing, and she's obviously trying to make fun out of it as much as she can.
Right.
But you know, they're not going to show her actually. They're not showing her actually expressing. And if that's how they take her saying
Yeah.
that, then it's like clear they're not taking it seriously enough to take any action
Right.
behind it. And the
Right.
fact that you go into the reunion and Jeff's talking about you had some great reads in this game, we don't even touch on it at all. Be like, you
Yeah.
say you don't
He,
regret anything in your game.
he
You say you
was
have no regrets.
we're talking up JR like he's some sort of hero. It was like it was weird. Yeah, it was kind of weird and strange. Like how we were like we went to him like more than before the first commercial break. We were like talking to him more than anyone. It seemed like, and it was like, why are we talking to this guy?
We
Like,
definitely talked to him more than Amanda. I feel
yeah,
like.
it was very weird. So, like, I get that he was a prominent character or whatever, but he was just kind of a creepy asshole. Like, so, yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
didn't
so
like
you want
it.
to avoid that at all costs. 'Cause you don't want to have that little blemish on the season to be like,
Right.
you know, there was some great gameplay, but this person wasn't able to fully play their game in the way they want to because this person is doing stuff outside of the game.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing. If you don't have someone that will step in on their behalf,
Right.
you can't have it be on the players to do so because you're also actively playing a game for $1 million to where you're disadvantaged to speaking up about these things.
Right.
And that could actually
Yeah,
negatively impact your game moving forward by doing that.
Right. Right. So it's almost like there's this weird, like, unspoken pressure to, like, not say something because
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, that will look poorly on me if I'm speaking out against him when these other women are dealing with it too. And but like, and I'm the one speaking up, and they're not. They're enduring it, and they're not speaking up. And it's like, well, that shouldn't really be like that shouldn't be the case. Like that shouldn't make you a target. Like, and if it does, then you know, screw that person. Really, like at the end of the day, and like. Yeah, I don't know. There has to be some sort of more measures in place to protect people from stuff like that.
See,
I mean, it's tricky. It's tricky when it comes to because that's the thing. This whole thing is tricky. All right, the social experiment game is hard. It's hard to like. People are in vulnerable positions out there, and that's why I think it's so important that needs to be taken seriously.
yeah.
Yeah.
They should be comfortable enough to be able to go to production and say that this bothers me. But at the same time,
Yeah.
there should be producers there. So when you see someone say no, go to the other side of the shelter, and then that person gets up, it goes to the other side of the shelter with
And then
them.
and then someone can just say no,
No,
no
more. And then
no more of that.
you
Yeah,
get like
none
a
of that.
warning,
Yeah.
and then you do it again, then you're gonna have further action, like maybe remove
Right.
them straight up. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
if
just keep
it's
being like, don't do it again. Don't do it again. And it's just like,
yeah, you can't. Yeah, you got to have some sort of tool. Like that's what I mean, like safety measures, like in place, where it's just like if you're doing that, then you're out of here, and we'll have to just edit around it, or even just explain why that
yeah,
happened, and let that be a lesson to you
yeah. But
and everyone else.
it's like the Ted and Gandia thing. They didn't exactly
Right.
handle that the best. They played
Right.
it, and it was in like the contention for like most iconic fights or whatever on that one thing.
Right. Yeah.
And it was like the Sue Hawk thing. They only kind of had to address it just because it was so public.
Right.
Like you couldn't go around it.
During a challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, and like she literally quits in that moment after
Right.
this whole speech. So it's like definitely at this time, at the very least, it's like unless their hands forced, they're not really taking the necessary measures to be proactive about it.
Right.
The last thing he has here is Courtney was recruited by head casting director Lynn Spillman after seeing her get into an argument with a customer when Courtney was waiting tables as a waitress. However, Survivor was sold to her as a vacation as no one thought she would last in the game. So she was expected to maybe spend about 9 days in the game and 30 days on the pre-jury vacation. When she got to around the merge, she tried to quit and producers had to convince her to stay. She's talked about being proud that she stuck it out. Do you think producers should be casting 16 people who they think can win, or should they cast people expecting them to fail?
That is an interesting proposition. That is an interesting question. And I think that question is probably too complicated for me to effectively answer. Because I think the answer is both. I think the answer is both. I think you have interesting. I think you should have. I think that makes the most interesting casts.
Yeah.
Because as we've seen from this, somebody that they were casting that they expected to just be kind of a joke or to get out ended up proving them wrong. That's the thing. You can't really predict what people are going to do when they get out there.
It was that close to actually winning. Yeah.
You can maybe have a rough guess. I mean, there's people you can get a read from. I mean, with her, you could probably, she wears her heart on her sleeve.
Chicken.
You get an idea.
Gone.
Chicken was almost certainly cast because he was presenting himself with a weird name, and
I would love to be able to imagine a world where Chicken is the winner of Survivor China. I just cannot.
He just beats all the odds. It's Chicken. There he is. He's the winner. Okay, what's actually your name though, sir?
Yeah. Was it Jane? What's his name?
It's like
some normal
John?
name.
Yeah.
I think maybe Steve.
Just Steve. Yeah, Chicken's way more interesting. Yeah.
Steve Chicken Morris. Yeah.
Steve Morris. Okay. I think that's a complicated answer. Like in terms of ratio, I feel like you should.
When I search Chicken Survivor China, the first thing that pops up is a Reddit that says we need to talk about how Chicken was robbed.
No, he was not.
It's like a joke post, but
yeah. No, I get it. So wonderful. No, I think ratios. I think you should probably weight it a little harder on people that want to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I think having people in there that maybe you are thinking that you may expect to lose might just make it more interesting. Like who's to say like Suri from those Cook Islands,
Panama.
It was Panama. They probably expected her to be out, and look, she's like a beloved player of the game now.
But there are people on that cast who you knew weren't going to win. Shane.
Yeah.
There's no world where Shane wins.
World where Shane wins. That'd be one world. That'd be a crazy world.
One world. So, yeah, in this season, the ones that stick out, is ones that when you're casting, there's no way you think they can win.
Yeah.
Is Chicken and Dave and
Sister Christian.
I could see that. I could see it being an outside chance.
Being like a thing, outside chance, maybe. Okay. Let's see. I feel like Ashley was cast because they think she might win.
Yeah.
Too.
It's WWE.
Yeah. Maybe someone like Jamie. They were like, yeah, she's nice. She's token nice. Denise. Maybe Denise was she'll. Who knows?
I mean, on paper, like when we first see James, he's built, he's physical. People would be drawn to him because of that. But the way he in the beginning, he's like, I don't even really like to talk to people. Basically, he's like, I don't do the whole talking thing. It's like it's not exactly someone you'd think has a good chance of winning.
That's true too.
But he was there, like he was outplayed at every corner, but. Presumably, if you just play one idol correctly, win a challenge, he's there. So
yeah, right.
Yeah, you get surprised all the time. Like Survivor Fiji, Earl just learned the game on the fly,
and just
played an excellent game.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Yeah, I definitely think the mix is the way to go.
Yeah.
Because. Yeah, if you just have all Todds in there, I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like it's too much. It gets a little
too much.
It's just too much.
Everybody's trying to break every part of the game. Just like, how can we do this and this and this? Oh, Chase Ferrier said Survivor China was marketed as a back to basics season. Does that feel like there's a needed change of pace for the show? Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Was the absence of Exile Island nice? And what are Alec's thoughts on the kidnapping twist in its place, where you get to kidnap someone when they lost the challenge?
I almost forgot that was an element because it only came into play like a little bit,
Because
like
you
towards
get
the beginning.
that's where you got to give the clue,
Right.
give someone a clue to the idol.
Give someone a clue, yeah. Huh.
I think that
Well,
aspect is interesting, at least.
yeah, I like that in concept. I actually did really enjoy that in concept because there's a lot of different layers to like why you would maybe make that decision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I actually did. I think overall positive. I think Exile Island has sort of played out its. Maybe they'll bring it back at some point. I don't know. I feel like for now it's sort of played out its kind of.
A little tired, yeah.
It's a little tired. They've had it for like 3 or 4 seasons now. So like,
And it kept getting down to the fact we're sending the same people who've been there because
yeah,
they don't want
yeah.
anybody else to get clues.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of got an old hat there a little bit, but I like I like the twisting concept. It didn't end up making all that much of a difference because everyone just trusted Todd for some reason. So but I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and I think it was really interesting. I don't know if they'll continue with something like that, but um yeah, I mean, if they continue with that, that's fine. Maybe they can add a little bit more of a depth or wrinkle to it, or if they go with something else, that's fine too. Exile Island just, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
So,
Um, if James had played an idol at 7 and used his
mhm.
second idol as well as won a couple challenges, does he win in a final 3 with Todd and Amanda, or was Todd winning regardless?
That is an interesting question. I think Todd wins regardless, but might be more of a toss up. So it's all depending because might have way James's pressure may have not caused Todd, because I think a lot of it really did come down to Todd's speech. If Todd was maybe frazzled by having James there, and wasn't able to maybe formulate his speech in the right way at the end, in answering questions, maybe James would have had more of a shot. Um, but I don't know. That's interesting. It's interesting to think about. I think Todd would ultimately still win, but
Well, let's think
I don't
about it. I
know.
mean,
Yeah. Well, let's think. Yeah.
Courtney almost won, right? That's why I
Right.
feel like almost James might have won, because if two people were already willing to vote for Courtney,
That's true.
and the fact that like everybody
So,
acknowledged that the win condition was to get James out, and then you
right.
have James there in spite of them trying to
Right.
get him out, then that's kind
Here
of
we
a
go.
bad look.
Here we go. Okay. Jean Robert probably votes for James
Yeah.
because he doesn't want to vote for Todd. It's
Denise
easy for him.
Denise votes
He
for
gets to
James.
Denise votes for James. They had a little bit of a connection there. Um, PG probably votes for James.
She could vote for Todd. I don't know what
She
you
could vote
think.
for Todd too, but she might respect him for having more awareness of the game.
Eric voted for Amanda, but I could see that's also very possible if James was there, that people would just be like, all right, well, James is there. The whole point
Right.
was you needed to get James out. So, like, a lot of people might defer to that, even if it's
Yeah.
not necessarily the most impressive game on paper. It's like he got here, still got here. And,
We
he,
still
and
got here,
everybody and
yeah.
everybody knew we need to get him out in order to win.
I think votes are more toss-ups than they might otherwise have been. Because
Yeah.
I mean, Courtney got votes.
But
I
also,
mean,
who would get? How would the votes go in a world where James is like basically immune the whole time till the end? Would it necessarily be Todd and Amanda as the other two people with him, or
yeah,
would
I don't
would
know.
Todd or Amanda have gotten clipped along the way as a result? Um, like I could see Todd being more vulnerable as a result of that. He might have even
Maybe,
gotten voted out
yeah,
before.
yeah. PG may have tried to get him out or vote him out,
I don't know.
and other scenario, maybe.
It's
I
hard
don't
to
know.
play out
Yeah.
hypotheticals so far back.
Yeah.
It's like so
Yeah.
many different things
It's
go different.
it's true.
But he definitely very good shot of
It
winning
would have
that.
shaken things up a significant amount more, I think.
If Denise had forced rocks at final 6 and made the end with Erik and PG, would you have had a chance? So you're saying at the final 6, make it a tie and then have a rock draw happen. Well, according to them in the reunion, that PG would have cleared an Erik, PG, Denise final 3, and I kind of believe that.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's probably what would happen. PG would win, and Denise
think
the whole time would be oblivious that she had no shot at winning. That's just how I feel.
Right. I think so too. Well, she was so oblivious that she had no shot of winning. She also lied on national television about her job. She was apparently oblivious to the fact that she had actually been promoted.
She had no idea. Yeah, that she wasn't even a lunch lady anymore. Anyway.
So
talking about I'm a lunch lady. She said it. She said that in Final Tribal Council. I'm a lunch lady.
Yeah.
She lied to their faces, and then you talk about you two lied up and down the block, and Courtney is blunt. I respect that. What the hell? Denise finessed us all. The longest, biggest con I've ever seen.
That's a long con right there. It's rough. That's rough.
Does Alec like the return to a 16-person cast, or does he prefer the bigger cast?
Yes, I like the 16 cast. Having bigger casts was fun for a bit, but like sometimes it's just too much. It's just too much. Just we can pare it down back to basics. It's okay to have a cast of 16.
Because you get to know a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Because we kind of know everybody. Like, maybe we got the least out of someone like Ashley. Out of it all.
Yeah.
But you still get a sense of more people than in the past, where it's like I don't even remember who this person is. Like these names, they're just like they could have been on any season. I have no idea.
Right.
The magician's assistant. Remember her from Guatemala?
Barely.
She was voted out first or second.
I just remember that she's a magician's assistant. I remember that.
There was Jim who got voted out first because his arm got messed up. He was an old guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
On the 11-mile hike.
Yeah. That's still the stupidest thing. Yeah, and freaking Bobby John's eyes rolling back in his head.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It's horrible. I can't believe they did that to them.
All right, who had a better final tribal performance, Todd or Chris?
Oh, that's tough. Boy, that's tough. I kind of want to say Chris. I think Todd's is close, but I think Chris legitimately changed everyone's mind. Like he almost gaslit all of them into like retroactively believing he was on their side the whole time.
What was especially devious about Chris, though, too, almost evil, is that you saw him very intentionally before Final Tribal goading Twyla, being like, you can't let them walk all over you in Final Tribal. And then and then in Confessional, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to... That's all her. Your funeral.
That was straight up... That was evil. It kind of was. It was great.
I mean, Todd served it up very well, but he didn't have
extremely well.
He didn't have to get raw and emotional like Chris did with Julie shedding tears in front of him.
I know, yeah.
And be like, my sister out here, whatever he said,
Yeah. He said
really
a lot.
Tugging at the
he said a lot of
heartstrings.
stuff. he played them all. It was amazing. Todd didn't really have to play anyone. He was just honest. He just did a really well.
He played John Robert.
He played John Robert, but I mean,
and that was a winning play.
Struck his ego.
Potentially,
that was he stroked his ego a little bit. So
it's also a seemingly more competitive final 3. So there's that to weigh as well.
Yeah.
The other ones were more likely to win than like Twyla, I think, because people also didn't like Twyla going into it.
That is true.
So,
I don't know. It's a little bit of a toss up, I think, because
too close to call.
It is too close to call. I think Chris had just the almost like the whiplash effect on his side for like how he just brought it. He just brought his A game to that freaking tribal. But Todd just was. He didn't have to do almost like social manipulation or social engineering so much. Only with John Robert. Everyone else, he was able to kind of navigate and answer any possible problems or questions that they had. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think they both. That's tough. I think I would still maybe just say Chris, almost just for the meme, because I mean,
You give
you
them
gotta
all. I give
respect
them both
that.
all the credit in the world.
Yeah,
It's
they deserve it.
two master classes in Final Tribal.
I think so.
This is interesting. Again, this is alleged based on Chase Ferrier's comment on the.
Right.
These are the only applicants of the season. There's 4. It's
Okay.
Todd, Sharia, Leslie, and Chicken.
Okay.
Absolutely, all
Yeah. What?
tracks. Yeah,
Yeah. Todd
all the
makes the
gamers.
most sense. All the gamers. Todd makes the most sense. The rest of them, I'm scratching my head a little bit at.
Yeah. Chicken.
She can be like,
Chicken sending
"Sure,
a
I'll
whole
do
video
that."
for this.
If you send an application video in. Well, here I am.
And they're like, all right, we're sold. Look at him. All he had to say is that they call me Chicken. I'm a chicken farmer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're like,
Shoot,
all right,
we gotta
that's
get
it.
people writing chicken on this parchment. Hell yeah.
Uh,
This is a random tidbit. Boo,
Okay.
you remember Boo from last season?
oh yeah, remember Boo?
He apparently got James on the show as they lived in the same area at the time and hung out. Also, in
Oh,
parentheses,
okay.
James is not the last contestant that Boo got on the show.
Oh, okay, that's kind of funny if that's true. I kind of love
Boo
that.
got all the connections.
Boo!
Hooking
Oh,
people.
scared you there. He scared him
Very
on.
scary.
That's what he's
But he also wanted us to talk about the Dr. Phil thing.
Yeah.
Dr. Phil's a fraud, and Todd was fed alcohol backstage before the appearance.
Yeah,
We could have a whole
that's-
video of my thoughts about Dr. Phil, he says.
That's super messed up. The fact that they did that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to go, Dr. Phil. You're a real champion of truth, justice, and fraud.
Random Rex says, I didn't even realize this. Neither Courtney nor Amanda received any votes to be eliminated throughout the whole season.
Yeah, that's true.
That's very interesting. We've had winners in the past that are like didn't receive any votes, and they might be the only person the whole season. And now we got the 2 people that didn't win, or the ones that didn't get the votes. Ty got several votes along the way.
He did, yeah.
Because people clocked that he
Wow.
was like the head of it all, essentially.
Yeah.
But yeah, no Courtney or Amanda. Todd is the first gay winner since Rich, and he also never had any form of immunity, whether it was challenges or an idol post-merge.
I remember that.
He was also aligned with every member of his starting tribe at one point or another. Yeah.
Played that social game real well. For sure.
There's a rumor that during pre-game tribal assignment, production was trying something different by having the one tribe have the seemingly strongest and seemingly weakest players together, being Aaron, James, JR, Amanda as the strongest, and Denise, Todd, Courtney, and Leslie as the weakest, while the other tribe would have the 8 in the middle. And they were hoping that it would kind of form a new form of game balance. Suffice to say, it didn't work because, James kind of just just cleared,
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So
that didn't work.
Because you try to do the strongest and the weakest on one tribe, and then the middle ones and the other one. Well, even if you
Still get the strongest people
still
on
the
that
strongest
tribe.
people, and especially if you have to start sitting people out, who are you going to sit out? The weakest ones. And so you just have the strongest people versus their middling people. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
I kind of believe that though, because it did seem kind of like weirdly balanced. Some of the people. Let's see.
We'll change the meta up here a little bit.
Yeah. All right. I think that's pretty much all of our questions for now.
All right. Cool.
What do you say we do Survivor Superlatives? All right.
Let's do it. Let's go for it.
So, one award that we have has been tabulating all season is the MVP of the season. Every episode, Alec awards an MVP for whichever reason, and then I added them all up. Whoever has the most is the, quote, MVP, and that person is PG. PG had the most MVPs of the season. And then runners-up were James, Courtney, and Todd. They all had, I think, 2 MVPs each. PG had 4. All right. So this is the MVP award. How about your pre-jury gem award? Who from the pre-jury gets this coveted title?
Maria, Aaron,
Chicken,
Dave.
Ashley, Leslie, Dave, Aaron.
You really gotta go with Chicken. I mean, like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, like, most of these others are just like, I feel the most bad for Aaron, honestly, because I think he had a legitimate shot at making some waves in the game. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, with someone as weird as Chicken, how can you not give it to him?
You gotta
how could you not? You gotta give it to him. You gotta. I mean, you just have to at this point.
All right, what about your cutie of the season?
Very tough. We had some cute ladies this time around.
Could it be the beauty queen, the waitress, the lunch lady? Any of these? Got a shot at it.
Yeah, like it was like beauty queen, and then it was like your profession was like something completely different.
Yeah, by the way,
like,
the lunch lady.
Yep. Yeah.
They should have had a lower third janitor.
Well, no, she lied, but I mean, I think they called Amanda the beauty queen or whatever, right? Or something.
Right. But she was also like a hiking guide or something random.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
But, they should have done that to Denise, though. You cut to Denise in the lower third that says custodian.
Denise.
Damn liar.
Lunch lady. Or custodian / lunch lady.
Lied to us all.
Maybe former lunch lady, maybe, at that point.
I mean, she literally lied to everybody. The whole production had no idea.
Yeah.
They're like, man, we got to give her $50,000. That's how much this story hurts. Cutie of the season.
Tough, man. It's tough.
Is it down to our... who's it down
I think
to?
It's...
Or just give it to me. Just give it to me.
Okay, so... Amanda's got those doe eyes. Yeah. You know, very, very cute. Very
Pillsbury
very, like,
Doughboy.
Emotional. Pillsbury Doughboy. PG has that confidence that I like a lot in a woman, and Courtney is quirky, funny girl. Mm-hmm. And which she showed, she put on full display at the reunion, and I was like, oh wow.
The holy trinity of Survivor China women. Oh, I mean, there's
really,
also Jamie.
Much.
Shout out to Jamie.
There's also Jamie. Jamie's also a beautiful woman. Nice, wholesome Southern girl. I think I'm gonna give it to Courtney. Quirky girl wins it for me in the end. She's got lovely eyes too. Very, very big eyes. I like that a lot. Then she's just kind of a goofball.
And her winsome personality.
And her winsome personality. I like snark and sarcasm and dry / goofy humor.
Really, what a ride with Courtney this season.
I know, with Courtney, I was my ups and downs. I hated her and Frosty, and then I loved her and Frosty, and then yeah.
Frosty didn't seem too beat up about it, all things considered. No. Actually, he was still cheesing it up, and he was like, "Oh, you look great," and joking around with her. But
yeah, he was kind of
He was like, "I'm still not gonna vote for you, though."
Yeah, still not voting for you.
All right, now the last award here. Alec's favorite player. Who is it?
Gotta give it to Eric. No.
Eric Huffman.
I'm totally kidding. Fuck that guy. Beat up his wife.
Gene Robert.
Gene Robert.
As some of the community refers to him, Genre Bear.
Genre
Bear.
Genre Bear. Yeah. He's the Genre Bear. Here he is. Oh, here I am. Today's genre is horror.
Yep, and that's how it'll be the rest of the season. Well, that's also the funny thing with John Rivera. This whole freaking strategy is like, I was gonna be an asshole the first half, and then I was gonna turn it in nice. You just didn't happen to see any of that come in yet. I wasn't there yet.
Yeah, okay, buddy, okay.
Like the pervy stuff, that was all part of the strategy, so it's all good.
That wasn't me. That was just the strategy.
The ultimate bluff.
Look, you gotta respect the game. And Todd was the best player all around this whole season. I think he's my favorite. I mean, I know PG is like really close to me. It's second. She's not close to me, like personally.
We're close personally.
I know her personally. I have close second. I appreciate a fighter. That was one of the reasons why Stephanie was a kind of a favorite. I think probably for a lot of people. I like the person that stays in it, determined, even when their strategies and plans and things don't really work out.
If I didn't reveal to you a lie about Denise, you would have picked Denise easy. Just admit it.
No, that's not true at all.
Because you love lunch ladies, and it was like, oh, she's a custodian. Get out of here.
Screw that. Get out of here. No, she wouldn't have made the cut either. She fumbled the whole time. No, Todd. I mean, Todd just played every part of the game correctly. The social game. Yeah. He wasn't like a big victor in a lot of challenges, but like he knew how to wheel and deal, and he knew how to. He stayed in it. He was competitive too. Did he win immunity once?
No, remember the commenter. The commenter said he was never immune.
The comment. That's true. He was never immune. He got some rewards, even if he was brought along.
He was brought along a lot. Well, I gotta bring Todd. You guys know that.
You gotta bring Todd. Todd's the social guy. We'll bring him along.
But yeah, I mean, I love it. Todd would be my favorite.
He's great. Yeah, I mean, he's just.
He's entertaining.
He's just fun. He's just fun to watch. And even when even when some fumbles happen, it's always entertaining. And I mean, he got the victory this season for a reason. I think. I'm glad the rest of the castaways agreed. He played the game. They respected his game the most of everyone.
And look, let's look at the votes he missed out on. Denise. Eric.
Okay. Yeah.
Get him out of here. And James.
Yeah.
So James is the only one, and there's like Denise and Eric is the votes he didn't get on top of that.
Right.
I can live with that.
Denise definitely sour grapes. Eric, who knows what the hell he was thinking? He voted for him. He was the one who voted
I'm just
for
saying,
Amanda,
like,
right?
He's a piece of shit anyway. I don't need his
well,
vote.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, he ended up being one. I don't know if he was at that time, but
why couldn't he just be the little cheeser?
I don't know. I appreciate
boy.
It. Yeah, a little cheesy virgin boy.
Cheesy virgin boy.
They tend to say that like that once a guy's been like, if a guy's like has like a temper, or like it can sometimes take a woman or maybe just a partner. Could be a guy as well if he's an angry fellow. A partner can sometimes temper that rage. Once you start having sex regularly, that actually can sometimes help your temperament. Well, apparently not in his case. So
should have stayed pent up.
Yeah, I guess at that point.
Piece of shit. All right. Let's rank the season, shall we?
Let's do that.
I know someone also commented you should do tier lists from now on for the ranking. I agree. I've been meaning to do that because the list is getting long. It's getting long to manage.
A tier list for what ranking? Sorry.
For season rankings or winter rankings, to more easily update it instead of like.
Oh yeah.
Let's rattle off
all the names. Yeah.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do right now.
Well, so what we're gonna do right now, though. So.
Alec, currently your rankings are Pearl Islands, Amazon, Australian Outback, Vanuatu, Panama, Cook Islands, Borneo, Marquesas, Guatemala, All Stars, Fiji, Palau, Africa, Thailand. And you can see it on your document here.
Oh yeah, we have the document. That is very useful.
Yeah. And my rankings were Pearl Islands, Vanuatu, Amazon, Borneo, Panama, Cook Islands, Marquesas, Australian Outback, All Stars, Fiji, Africa, Palau, Guatemala, Thailand. What are you thinking? Like, what kind of range are we in?
I'm in like mid-range. I think it's a really solid season for a lot of reasons. Um, I'm like sitting right above Borneo personally, where mine is.
Right above Borneo, below Cook Islands.
Yep, below Cook Islands, I think. I think that's right about where I'm feeling. At least for now. I think I was thinking about maybe swapping All Stars in Guatemala as well, but I think I'll hold them. I'll hold it for now.
All right, it's gonna be much higher for me. I think it's much higher. I think it's very high. I don't know how I feel about my personal rankings on some of these though.
Yeah, well, that's actually kind of one thing I'm sort of looking at, maybe altering around a little bit here, because I actually think what I might do, I might shake this whole thing up right now. I'm gonna move that Borneo China block,
What block?
the Borneo China
Just
block.
Borneo and China.
Yep, I might move them, bump them right above Panama.
Okay. So you got Pearl Islands, Amazon, Australian Outback, Vanuatu, Borneo, China, Panama, Cook Islands, Marquesas, Guatemala, All Stars, Fiji, Palau, Africa, Thailand.
I think so. Let's bump Africa up above Palau as well. I think that's good. I think I've made all the moves
Okay.
I need to.
I'm kind of torn on these top rankings here. I think I might move them. I don't know, but I think China's really up there. Really up there. I'm gonna say, watch this. Watch this. Pearl Islands, Vanuatu, Panama. Bringing Panama up.
Hmm.
Panama, China. I'm gonna go Borneo. The Amazon, Cook Islands, Marquesas, the Australian Outback, All Stars, Fiji. I'm actually going to put Palau and Guatemala above Africa now.
Okay.
I'm moving Africa down.
Okay. It's interesting because I think you moved Africa up last time.
Really?
Yeah, I think you did.
So tough.
It's tough. It's one of those earlier seasons where you don't have reactions to are a little harder. Some of them are a little harder to remember. I still do high up. I still hold up Australian Outback pretty high.
It's definitely not that high for me. Yeah. So right now I have Pearl Islands, Vanuatu, Panama, China, Borneo, the Amazon, Cook Islands, Marquesas, Australian Outback, All Stars, Fiji, Palau, Guatemala, Africa, Thailand. So China's at number 4 for me, number 6 for you. I will tell you right now, I didn't want to tell you before you did it, but China is definitely very highly viewed, very highly by the fans. Like one of the all-time favorites of Survivor.
That's really interesting to
like
me.
At we're 46 seasons in. I see it consistently top 5, top 6.
Yeah, that's interesting. It kind of makes sense because I think the back to basics approach I think probably works for most people. Also, we have
the people,
one of the most interesting and like personality driven casts. I think you have a personality driven cast, and you have Todd, and Todd is an excellent winner. So
yeah, I can already see why we need to do freaking tier list because it's such a mess to.
It is a mess.
Reorder in here.
Because speaking of which, I think we're gonna do winners next.
Winners next. So currently you got Richard Hatch, Yule, Brian, Tom, Earl, Chris, Sandra, Vesepia, Tina, Aris, Ethan, Danny, Amber, Jenna. And I have Richard, Tom, Yule, Earl, Brian, Chris, Tina, Sandra, Vesepia, Aris, Ethan, Danny, Amber, Jenna. The common bottom 5 there. So interesting because remember you were like maybe next time we reevaluate Richard Hatch, like where because it's so hard to say where to put him, but
it is hard to say where to put him. But
where do you think Todd will go?
I think Todd is gonna go. I think Todd's.
I mean, the top 5 we have already is really solid.
Yeah, it's really tough. but I think I'm gonna put him just above Chris.
Okay.
Top 5 is really tough. I kind of wanted to put him higher.
Yeah. I'm gonna put him higher. I think I gotta put him
No, you know
higher.
what? I'm gonna put him higher. I'm gonna put him higher. I'm gonna put him just under Yule.
Whoa, jumped up 3 spots.
Yeah, I was looking. I was honestly looking like maybe top 3, and I think he deserves to be there.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm thinking very similar. I'm putting him number 3. Yeah, I'm putting him number 3, above Yule for me.
Hmm.
The reason I put him above Yule is because it's kind of like the antithesis to Yule. Yule
It
had the
actually
the
is. Yeah.
idol the whole time. Todd didn't need immunity ever, so
Hmm.
I think that's kind of gives him a leg up for me. I almost was like, is even higher than Richard Hatch. I mean, where's Richard Hatch?
Yeah. This. I don't know. Yeah. This is kind of tough. I think in the future, I think he might actually. It's because I don't want to like. It's very very recent office, so it can sometimes be sort of hard to evaluate that. But I think if anyone's gonna breach Richard Hatch, I think he's definitely has a significant chance at doing so in reevaluations.
But I got Tom above him still. I just find it so hard to put Tom below
Yeah,
him.
Tom the God.
Yeah, it's tough because Todd
Mm,
Tom didn't have as much like strategic prowess. He didn't have to go to tribal at all, or one time
yeah.
pre-merge with Willard,
Mm,
and then he did win some challenges. But it's just a different game.
yeah.
He wasn't the gamer, but he still was the center of everything.
Right.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
These are excellent winners. All the top ones are really good. From
Yeah. They
Earl,
are.
Brian, up. You know,
Yeah.
dang. All right. How about your top 10 favorite Survivor players so far? Did any of these Survivor China contestants reach your top 10? Who you currently have are Boston Rob, Rupert, Rob Sesternino, Stephanie, Richard, Johnny, Sari, Yule, Yowman, Rafe.
What's insane is that two people stood out to me to replace three. Well, three actually. I look at Richard Hatch, I look at Yule, and I look at Rafe.
How do you look at them? That's number 5, number 8, and number 10.
I look at them. I look at them as who am I going to put Todd? Who am I going to replace with Todd?
But wouldn't it always be 10 if you have your top 10?
Maybe not necessarily.
So what makes you want to take someone from top 5 out? You just
No,
suddenly you
that's
feel like
not.
they're not.
I'm just.
No,
I
I'm
don't know.
just curious the
I'm just
logic.
kind of being goofy. I'm just being kind of goofy.
I'm curious the
I
logic that
think.
happens sometimes where you're like, actually
Well,
don't
it's just
want.
like, cause like I don't know. Like Yule's great. I like Yule a lot. He's clearly a dominant champion. That's why I have him up so high.
He's like a very likable
Hard
guy.
to say. Yeah. But I like Rafe a lot too. I think he's a very likable guy. I think he's kind of a. I think okay. I think Rafe's gonna drop off, and I think we're gonna put Todd. Honestly, I think we're gonna put Todd above Stephanie. I like him a
Number
lot,
4.
man. He's a great player of the game.
All right, is that it?
I think that's it.
All right. So we got Boston Rob, Rupert, Rob Sesternino, Todd, Stephanie, Richard, Johnny, Sari, Yule, Yowman. All right. Is there anyone else you were considering putting in from this cast?
It would be only like the only one that I would maybe considered would be like maybe James,
Hmm.
and maybe Courtney, but that's I think Todd wins it out here for sure.
Yeah, I think for me too, I would probably have done the same,
Yeah,
similar. But yeah, I really love Courtney as well. I don't know
yeah,
if she would be the top 10 or not, but
yeah.
I do
But
love her.
she's very likable. All at the end of the day, again, I like quirky girls. And sometimes here's the thing. Sometimes with when it comes to me, if you know me and girls I'm interested in, they're oftentimes the ones that bother me and piss me off the most are actually the ones that I'm end up being the most interested in.
Some middle school
It's weird.
stuff.
It is. It's nonsense. It's stupid and I hate it, but that's just the way my brain works sometimes. So
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up with the In Memoriam. All right, we're
okay.
gonna say rest in peace to some of these survivors. I'm gonna send you a link. I just have their picture. I have their
Okay.
when they were born, when they passed away. These aren't in order of when they passed away. They're in order of the seasons, and then you'll see. Because the first one we see is actually the most recent person to unfortunately pass away. I guess we got Sonia, literally the first person voted off of Survivor ever.
Yeah. Wow.
You know, remember with her ukulele, her little ukulele.
Oh yeah.
She was born in 1937, passed away April 26, 2024.
Wow.
So she was 87. BB.
This is what we already knew about this one. Yeah.
So at 77, he passed away from brain cancer. Rudy.
We got Rudy.
There
he is.
He died at 91 years old from Alzheimer's. But he died not long ago either. It was 2019.
Yeah, wow.
Clay Jordan.
Clay Jordan really has passed away. Wow.
Okay. I forget what it was. I tried to write it if there was a reason that we knew. I don't know if it was cancer or something. Some sort of illness, of course. And next up, we got...
He looks... That's actually a really nice picture of him there. Mm-hmm. So.
Next up, we got Roger from the Amazon.
Roger! Wow.
Mr. Kung Fu Chop.
Kung Fu Chop. I still make reference to that sometimes.
Yeah.
What is Lewy body dementia?
I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that's what it said.
Never heard of that. Huh.
Lewy body dementia. Next up, we got Angie from Survivor Palau.
Oh, wow.
She died from cancer. She was very young, 41 years old.
Too young. Way too young. That's very sad.
Yeah. And next is another young one. Jen from Survivor Palau. Also.
Oh, wow.
She died from breast cancer. It was only 5 years after her season aired, actually. Oof. So it was like very fresh one.
Yeah, it was very early. Wow.
38 years old.
That's awful.
And the one from this season is Ashley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
she committed suicide.
Oof.
Very sad.
Yeah, that's tough.
It was really rough. I remember looking at like her Twitter and everything, and it's very sad to see like when she's just like happy with like or just saying something about fans or something, and then just one day just nothing else.
Wow.
So rest in peace to Ashley. We didn't get much of her for the season, but
that's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, she was 40 years old too.
Wow.
Yes. So there's our In Memoriam.
Well, yeah, rest in peace to all our past Survivor folks.
Yeah, it's like this is how old Survivor is at this point.
Yeah,
you know?
For real.
For the longest time, it was like actually very surprising that there were only a handful, one or two people that passed away for the longest time, and then it gets to be that point where we're 24 years removed from the premiere.
Right, exactly. So
it's sad, but there you have it.
Yeah.
Another Survivor season in the books.
Yep.
Survivor China, not be easily forgotten.
No, certainly not.
Hope you enjoyed our review. Hope you enjoyed joining us for the whole season. A lot of fun moments. Of course, we know what's on the horizon. It's
fans versus favorites.
Fans versus favorites. It's big. Yeah. It's big right there.
That sounds big. I mean, just rolls off the tongue too. It's fans versus favorites on.
Yeah, Survivor Micronesia. Fans versus favorites. We're about to be starting that very soon. So come back in a week, or it might be 2 weeks from now. So what's going on is we took a break from Survivor 1 week. So there were actually would have been a missing episode, like no Survivor for a week, I'm actually
Mm-hmm.
going to record a video with Rusty talking about Modern Survivor.
Oh,
So it's going
right
to
on.
slide right in there in our open Survivor spot, which will tide you over until Survivor Micronesia, just a couple weeks away. All right.
Cool. Cool beans.
So thank you for everybody who's been commenting all the way through the season.
Yeah.
Who asked
Love
us
it.
questions here, and all the support you've shown. Really appreciate it.
Really does. Yeah. No, it's nice to get to sort of review and sort of think about things a certain way, and it's people that have a greater perspective, I guess, are always going to know how to curate questions in such a way that's not going to spoil anything for me, but it also in a way that's going to help sort of I don't know, just like help us discuss and talk about the season in an interesting way. So yeah, thanks as always. I mean, we really love the support that we're getting. So
Yeah.
Zach sees most of it. I don't really see any of it. So you feel free to comment whatever you want. Zach's good at curating it all as well. But
Yeah, so we'll read them usually on Tarqaron podcast episodes whenever it's applicable. We'll read them then, or we'll read them the season reviews and whatnot. But we always your voices are definitely heard. If I ever gloss over anything or don't acknowledge anything, it's usually for a reason. Like I don't want to go into a certain thing or just yet.
right.
All the people that asked, are we going to do a pre All Stars, like making a cast video? Not going to do it this time. I thought it would be better just to get fresh reactions in the moment watching the episode.
Yeah, we'll go in and see all who we got.
And then we'll have a talk about the casts, probably talk
Sure.
about each one. And I know someone commented with some like tidbits of like people who declined, weren't able to make it, other things like that. I will say, to preface, just to give some context going into it, what to expect. I will say there's no one from Survivor All Stars on it, so it's essentially like an All Stars 2 hybrid
All-Stars
type
2.
thing.
Okay, that's kind of cool. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, all right.
So, all right. Look forward to that. It's going to be fun. All right, I'll see you soon.
All right.
If you enjoyed this video, why don't you go check out our review of Survivor Thailand. All right.
Yeah. The one that started it all. Well, not quite, but it was our first reaction.
First reaction series. What a way to start. And we quickly realized if we can endure Survivor Thailand week by week, then we can endure anything. And that's beautiful.
Pretty much.
Because it's been very consistently the bottom of the barrel. Sometimes.
Yeah, our rankings are like, all right, we rank Survivor Thailand. Here we go. What do we rank next? Well, we rank this one's above it. Yeah.
Luckily, we've not had to consider anything. Should we put it below Thailand?
Yeah, nothing's been
not
quite that
close.
bad. No. Not even close.
But
really
yeah, check that out. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Go to on our channel. We have a playlist of all of our Survivor videos, or go to zacharcher.net/survivor, and you can pick whatever season you want to dive into. All right, like the video, leave a comment, and if you do, we'll be sure to read it in the next episode of the Tarqaron podcast. Click the link in the description for our social media and hit that notification bell, baby.
Yeah.
All right, and take care of yourself.